stirring the coffee with massively huge chopsticks using big chopstick energy and the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started. But first, Mexican Chiapas coffee in a Hardee's Rise and Shine coffee mug. Let's see how that goes. Perfect. Made it cowboy coffee style. People usually don't think Mexico when they think coffee. You know that? They're not thinking Mexico. What are you thinking? Colombia, right? Maybe Brazil, Nicaragua, Ethiopia, Guatemala. You don't think Mexico. This is magnificent. It's magnificent. Wow. Boy, that's not going to last very long, is it now? I have a Rise and Shine coffee mug. I have a whole set of these that I pulled out of storage. I have, it was funny too, because when I saw Lindy having her coffee in a Rise and Shine mug, I'm thinking, hey, I got one of those. This is from 1986. I think that's when they came out. It says 1986 on the bottom. And I was a huge fan of Hardee's and their cinnamon raisin biscuits in North Carolina. When I was married, we used to drive from Philly to North Carolina. And I would say, I'm waiting till I get to North Carolina to get my cinnamon raisin biscuits. And that was the only place I could find them, was in North Carolina. Hardee's. And I loved them. And I haven't had them. Well, it's been 17, going on 8. Yeah, I probably haven't had them in 18 years. I don't even know if they still have them. If they do, someone let me know down below. I would love to see if Hardee's still makes those. Or if there even is a Hardee's. Do Hardee's even exist anymore? Who knows? I also have a set of, there used to be these, you know how there's IHOP and Waffle House, these kind of places. Many years ago, there used to be a chain of stores called Aunt Jemima's Pancake House. And I have a set of coffee mugs with a graphic of Aunt Jemima, a black woman with a bonnet on, inside the cup. So as the level of the coffee went down, there was Aunt Jemima sitting there smiling at you. Now that's a trip. Aunt Jemima, does anyone remember Aunt Jemima Pancake House? I know most people know of IHOP and Waffle House. Interesting, right? But since I used to do a Rise and Shine series, it just never occurred to me to be drinking coffee from the Rise and Shine mugs. And then I saw Lindy have one of these mugs in one of her videos. Thank you, Lindy. Here's to you. I am now on Gab since I've been banned off of Twitter. Gab tells me that I belonged to Gab since March of 2018. You know, when all these alternative sites come out, I join them right away. And I just kind of hang out. I have people say, well, I can't believe you've been on there that long. I have a Patreon account, but I just don't use it, which I'm going to start using. Thank you to my friend. You know who you are. But I have accounts on all the alt sites. And I just got blue check verified on Gab, which I was unable to do on Twitter. And I was on Twitter since 2009, but only started using Twitter in 2017 or 2018. Again, another thing that I found fairly useless until the past 4 years. So I am blue check verified on Gab. Yay! Pat on the back. That and $1.99 will get you a cup of coffee at Hardee's. This coffee is so good. Holy cow. I'm serious. Mexican Chiapas. I got this one at this bag of beans at Aldi. Lord, that is good. This is why I drink coffee. We're just going to have a daybreak show of me reacting to this coffee. How's that sound? So I'm on Gab. I actually reactivated. I shouldn't say reactivate. I started using Gab last week even though I've been on Gab since 2018, I started actually utilizing it last week since I got banned from Twitter for no reason. I know the reason, but they didn't give a reason. And I now have almost 7,000 followers in a week. I got 1,000 followers overnight. And I'm getting reactions and I don't know what you want to call them, regabs from some of my, I keep saying tweets, they're not tweets, so I'll just say gabs. Is that right? Someone correct me if I'm. So I'm getting a lot of regabs, getting a lot of likes and hits and all that. So my dopamine and endorphins are flowing because, that's what really matters in life is, likes and hearts and regabs. That's all that matters, right? Nothing else matters. For those of you who think I'm serious, I have the ability to say things that I know that I'm joking around about, but can keep a straight face. Because there are people who don't pick up on nuance and new people who don't know me who will look at me and say, I can't believe you just said that. Okay. I am probably the most stoic in the morning. My stoicism decreases as my caffeine level rises. And for those of you that are new, I'll explain this. There's 3 to 5 clues, mini hidden subliminal messages in every Daybreak show. If you only got one, you got some looking to do. Always, all right? How many seasons of the Daybreak show have we done? And you're just understanding that there are some esoteric symbols and things happening other than just what's coming out of my mouth? That's all I'm going to say about that. Neon Revolt reached out to me yesterday. Hello, hi. Good to chat with you on Gab. And said that if I go to Gab Pro, I can upload these videos to Gab, what they call Gab TV. Now I understand places like DLive and BitChute and Rumble, I can upload there as well. So what am I looking for? Am I looking for a monetization platform? That's not bad. That's something I need to do more of if I actually don't want to go to a job. My Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday job is the result of being demonetized here. The job that I go to 3 days a week is the result of being demonetized here on YouTube. I still cut hair. Like today, I have a full day at the salon. Some of you guys that are new, I cut hair. It is a trade of mine. I have a profession and I have a trade. A trade is something I do with my hands. My profession is something I do with my brain when I work with people. My trade is something I do 1 to 2 days a week at a salon. It's a salon, and I have a private men's grooming studio in the back of the salon. It's a masculine place, men only. It's kind of like a private barber shop, so to speak. I no longer do women's hair. I do only men's hair. I'm licensed to cut hair in Pennsylvania and in Florida. I probably will take the show to Florida, most likely, and then maybe come back up here once a month to service my clients here in Pennsylvania rather than say goodbye to the people who've been following me for years. That's probably one of the things that I will do, most likely. And I have to be there today at 10:30 with all the proper COVID protocol, mask and sanitizing, disinfecting, and all that stuff like that. Pennsylvania has made it somewhat cumbersome to do all this, to practice my trade in this state. They shut us down for 3.5 months. 3.5 months of not cutting hair. 3.5 months of not having income. That was interesting. It's a good thing I have about 11 streams of income. Did you hear me? Yes. And you need some too. And it can't be the government. All right, let's talk about Facebook for a second. Has Facebook outlived its purpose? I always feel like I'm about one click away from deleting my Facebook. I know some of you have, some of you haven't. The appeal for me is no longer there. I'm so happy that I stay in touch with relatives throughout the world. My relatives in Europe are on there. I now can find out if someone dies, or, I can find out that day. I log onto Facebook and I see what a cousin had for breakfast, 2 hours earlier. in that sense, I like Facebook. I don't like the censoring. I don't like how they are information grabbing and selling my information. I don't like that. I always feel like I'm just one click away from leaving there. And I had, 5,000 friends. Remember friends? Like, you're a friend. Like, and I think right now I'm down to under 200. I just started deleting and unfollowing and unfriending and all that. I didn't like the arguments, the fights amongst. I didn't like the political nonsense. I'd rather keep my group small. And it's high school mates, college mates, and family in the States and around the world. I do have family in Europe. So Facebook was a great way of being in touch with my family. I saw this picture on Facebook and I had to post it. My definition of a morning workout. Check this out. I thought this was funny. As a guy that gets up early in the morning and does a walk, I love the sleeping in memes and not wanting to get out of bed memes. I think they're pretty funny. This one was pretty good. There is a thing now called misgendering. I believe in California, I know in Canada it's a crime to misgender somebody. So let's say there's a dude who says, I'm really a woman on the inside, and he starts dressing like a woman, or might even have surgery to have his sex organs removed or altered or whatever. And he says, I'm now going to be a she, and you need to refer to me as she and her. Those are the pronouns that you need to use to refer to me. That is now protected by law in Canada. If you misgender somebody, you can get charged and go to jail. I'm not sure yet if it's a crime in California, but that's going to be a word that you're going to see in 2021. That's already a law passed by the new administration. That in all laws and legal stuff, you need to call that person a she and a her. And that just opens up the door to, you can no longer say son or daughter, you have to say offspring or child. You can't say mother or father, you have to say parent. Or parent number one and parent number two. You see where this is going? Already. Hasn't even been a day. Already. Okay? I'm not sure it's in actually in an official dictionary, a printed dictionary. I know it's not in my 1881 dictionary. I don't think it's even in a printed dictionary now, but it will be. If you go online and look up the word misgendering, it's the act of calling somebody something that they're not. And it's also going to be a crime. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. I'm reminded of this tweet from January 21st, 2017. I am honored to serve you, the great American people, as your 45th President of the United States. And I said, yes, that's right. He serves us. That's what we elected him for. We don't serve him. It was nice to have a president that serves us and works for us, the American people, as a whole. Here's an exclusive segment that I'm calling Ask the Sultan. I used to do this quite often. And I will read this email without revealing the identity of the person, and I will leave out what I call personally identifiable data, so there's no way in the world you're going to guess who this is. Hello, Mr. Bruno. I've been a follower of your content for quite a while now, and a lot has changed in my life since I first started watching it, amongst other similar content creators. One of those changes has been attending church regularly. In my family growing up, we never went to church, so it is new to me. I think you have a somewhat unique perspective on MGTOW, being that, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, that you are not 100% opposed to marriage, as I see it in many other people in the MGTOW community. No, I am not opposed to marriage. I am open to marriage. Now, with going to church, one of the expectations is to move away from sin, one of them being, to put bluntly, refraining from sex before marriage. Excellent. That's what I'm doing. I'm abstaining until I get married. I've been digesting MGTOW content from a number of different people. Some I agree with more than others, but I think that being in a Christian relationship is more of what the people from this community expected from a marriage where that's not what they received. Okay. I've been pondering this for the past couple days and haven't been able to find any NGTOW content creators who have discussed this in the past. I'm interested to hear what wisdom you have to illuminate this subject. I would like to have a relationship with the intent of marriage in the future, but given the state of how I hear people talk about it and how I've seen it work out for other people in my life, I think I have a healthy fear of such commitment. That could have negative effects in my life. On the flip side, I think the best person I could make such a commitment with would be someone who shares the same values and ideals about life as I do. Do you think it would be in one's best interest to marry someone with Christian values if your intent with a relationship is to get married and stay married? Does waiting until marriage for sex create an environment where your spouse would be more committed to the marriage down the line? Thank you for all the time you put into your channel and content. P.S. I got unstuck last year, wrote and published my first book, started taking my health seriously, blah, 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 and all kinds of personally identifiable information. And if that person wants to reach out to me, and because I am using your questions as content, please reach out to me again, and we'll talk about your book that you published. So let's go to his questions right now. Do I think it's in one's best interest to marry someone with Christian values if your intent with a relationship is to get married and stay married? Yeah, Christians should marry Christians. Do not marry outside of the faith. Does the faith prevent you from getting divorced? No. No more than walking on a sidewalk keeps you from getting hit by a car. It can happen. Okay, you don't walk in the street. Like, you're not going to marry a hooker or some chick who's bearing her booty and boobs on Instagram. That's a no-no. That's not even grandfatherly wisdom there. That's just common sense. But like I said, remember what I said in my tweet, common sense isn't so common anymore. So why is it called common sense? It really should be called uncommon sense. Think about that. Let that sink in. So you're not going to walk in the street because you don't want to get hit by a car. So you don't want to marry someone outside your faith. You walk on the sidewalk where it's safer. So you marry someone within the faith because it's safer and more reliable. But does that mean, just like walking on the sidewalk, does that mean a car can't jump the curb and hit you? A car can jump the curb and hit you. So marrying a Christian person is no guarantee that the marriage is going to be happy and marriage is going to last. That's voodoo if you think that. You got to be equally yoked. I get that. Yeah. Getting married in a Christian church by a Christian pastor is no magic. It's no magic chopstick. This marriage will now last forever, no matter what happens. Ding. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. That's why I say date long, marry slow, and if you're going to get divorced, divorce fast. Okay? Date long, marry slow, divorce fast. Nothing impulsive. Wait till the hormones, the endorphins, the oxytocins, the dopamines, and all that beautiful love chemicals that bathe your brain, that make you feel like you're in love. You have to really wait till that kind of calms down a little bit. Because if you married everyone who you thought you loved, my Lord, we would all have a life with multiple divorces, all of us. So you kind of wait till that calms down, all right? Does waiting till marriage for sex create an environment where your spouse will be more committed to the marriage down the line? It's possible, and I hate to be so non-committal about these things. It is possible. It is possible. I do believe it's possible, but it's no guarantee. There's no guarantees. There's no guarantee that a plane is not going to crash into your house. There's no guarantee that a car is not going to jump a curb and go onto the sidewalk. There are no guarantees. That's it. True love is from God, period. If people don't emulate God, there is no true love. If somebody doesn't love you with the love of Christ, it's 100% conditional. God loves you with unconditional love. As far as the NGTOW MGTOW stuff, I probably will be the world's first married MGTOW guy. Most likely. Which means that I have a life. I have a life, and I'm inviting someone into my life to become one. To become one. Why does divorce hurt so much? Because when you get married, two become one. Why does divorce hurt so much? Because then the one becomes two. That one gets torn into two. That's why it hurts so much for everybody. That's why it's so disruptive to families. That's why it's like touching a hot stove. You don't want to do it again. Now, there's some people who keep running back into the burning house, running back into the slaughterhouse. Some people just don't learn. They don't learn. And they're getting married, until the endorphins wear off. I know women that collect last names and diamond rings. I know women like that. I've known women that had me moving into their house, literally said to me, "This is where your Van Gogh room will be. This is where the cozy nook will be. You can do your daybreak show from here." And I'm like, man, she had my life planned out for me. Home you don't play that. Let me just make that clear. So, what I want to do is emulate for you what I want you to do. And that is this: date long, marry slow. And if you're going to get divorced, divorce fast. Because I'd rather save the man than save the marriage. If I save the man, the marriage might have a chance. If I try to save the marriage, then guess what? That means concession on the man's part. Now, if you're a jerk, admit it, confess, make things right. But if part of the problem in your marriage is just that you are a man, then it's better to get out. In that way, I'm pro-divorce. So if you want to get married, it needs to be somebody who is of the Christian faith. That's number one. Number two, you need to vet them. Their past is important. Don't kid yourself. The past is a good indication of how the future will be. Women have a tendency to lose the ability to attach after a certain amount of sex partners in their life. Usually that's like 6 to 9. Sounds weird to say that, right? Because they've had a man's seed in them and on them. And that's imprinted in their body, in their emotional, mental DNA. And since the body absorbs everything, listen, there's people who want to quit smoking and they put, the patch on. I'm on the patch. Because it's called intradermal medication administration. You can take a pill. You can do subcutaneous, like an insulin shot. You can do intravenous. You can inhale medicine through mist. What else? What other kinds of medicine administration are there? There's intradermal, transdermal, I think it's called. Transdermal, is that right? I think that's the word. Using a patch. There's some guys who are on testosterone, and it's a cream that they rub on their back or on a large part of the skin because it gets absorbed in. Can you imagine a woman who has been with many, many guys, and the seed of all those men is on her body, in her mouth, in all her orifices? It got absorbed. And this is not a static, it's not like drinking milk. It's not like drinking a dead liquid. Okay, a man's seed is alive, it's dynamic. Look at it under a microscope. It's moving, it's alive, it has energy, big chopstick energy. And that energy is being absorbed into her body. So she has absorbed the life energy of many men. Holy cow, by the time the average woman gets out of college, no wonder she is slightly goofy. This is one of the reasons why a woman can flake on you real quick. Number one, women are more emotional than men. It's a fact. They use their feelings more than their rational brain. Sometimes those things are good. A wife can say to a husband, I have a bad feeling about this investment. I had a bad feeling about that guy. I have a bad feeling about him or her. And she could be right. That's the beauty of a female, of the intuition, of the feelings. It's not all bad. Let's get real. This is not a female bashing channel. Because I will swing a bat at males and females at the stupid things they both do. But back to the topic of a woman receiving the seed, the living life energy seed of many men. The more there is, the less ability there is for her to attach to you. That's a fact. So, how do you vet somebody? Women usually, what's the word? They under under women underreport their number of sex partners. Why? Because instinctively and silently they know it's wrong, and they don't want to be perceived as a field that's been plowed by several farmers. Men typically overreport their sexual conquests and numbers. Why? Because it's perceived a farmer who has planted many fields and has a crop. The problem with the guy part now is this, is that you've had sterile sex for years, which means you are planting seed on soil where nothing can grow. That's what sex is now. Sex is just fun. It's just release. It's just 5 to 7 seconds of muscular contraction that you get pleasure from, and it's planting seeds on concrete. Nothing's going to grow. So you've wasted your life energy all these years. And I'm not talking about semen retention. That's voodoo too. Waiting until marriage has nothing to do with semen retention. Waiting till marriage has everything to do with God made man, God made woman. Our purpose is to procreate. If you have a weenus, you are meant to procreate. If you have a womb, you are meant to procreate. Sometimes things go wrong with those apparatus, and you can't do that, but you might have a parent's heart. This is why people might have pets. This is why people might adopt. Because most of us have when things are normal in our own families, we have a parental heart. We want to create life. If we get too overburdened with negativity and black-pilled about life, that we say things like, I would never want to bring a baby into this world. You know what? Your parents and grandparents came into this world when this world was a hell of a lot more tumultuous than it is now. So, to my original question, you have no guarantees. The only thing that you can guarantee is your own fidelity. You have no control over what happens in a marriage. You can contribute all you want, but if the other party doesn't have the same heart or doesn't have the ability to attach, oneness has nothing to do with living together, being roommates, cooking together, feeling good together, liking the same things. Oneness is a heck of a lot different. It has a lot to do with attachment the way God wanted it to happen. We're not meant to have multiple sexual partners and then settle down. I think I'm going to settle down. Women do damage to themselves every time they have a new sexual partner. The numbers don't lie. I believe it's the divorce and the ability to attach starts. I'm going to put a link down below about this. It starts at about 6 to 9. Now, find a woman who's had those kind of numbers, and she's going to be a prize, if that makes any sense. Most women have had double and triple that and more. So, where men go wrong is they think they can rescue somebody. As what do they say in the manosphere, which is a word that I hate? Turn a hoe into a housewife. That ain't going to happen. It can happen, I guess. I mean, Jesus turned water into wine, raised the dead, but you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. It can't happen. So what do you do? The flip side of that is you can't turn an irresponsible farmer into a husband. If you're so used to your single life of planting your seed in strange and foreign fields that never grew a crop, there might be something wrong with you, and your attachment ability is also screwed. You get both of those people together, I doubt that marriage even stands a chance. So, mister, you have to determine your ability to attach. I want you to start looking at yourself and not looking at other people, not looking at women like, I wonder if she can attach. Ask yourself the question, can I attach? This is way too heavy for first thing in the morning. Look at this, the sun is already coming up. Finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.